All right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to what is now Princes of Azemar. I had a whole intro planned, and then I closed the tab that I had written it in. So we're going to start with some intros instead. In the top left, a very cute cat.
Hi, Bee, say hi.
Oh.
She's eating. She's pretty busy.
Actually, in the top left, played by Lily and Alex, the twin blacksmith fighters. They're the Eldris brothers. You've probably heard of them.
At this point, I hope you have.
Fresh off some trauma.
In the top right, our friend Bobby, playing the warlock with more vices than virtues, Koros
Nice.
Ravenrock.
I'm nice. I saved a guy.
Woo.
One guy.
Guy.
You're still net negative.
Wait, what? No.
You did really well. I was proud of you.
All right. Coming along the bottom row. In the bottom left, we have the paladin of Ilmater with a evil clone somewhere in the world. It's Irina.
Yeah.
And last but not least for today, in the bottom right, we've got the fashion dragon himself, no longer going by Dirk Courage. It is Nadam Nazir.
Yeah.
We'll get into the why in just a moment.
Oh,
But
my-
first, I want you to imagine that I look like Madame Ava and have a crystal ball in front of me. Welcome, my friends. Come closer, yes. Let me tell you what I see. A group of adventurers far from their homes. They have defeated a great evil, but in doing so, have discovered something far worse. They venture east to defeat the orcs, who have taken the lands across the Great Bridge. But once they venture across, they will find more than just orcs. Their nemesis, a powerful drow lich, has seized power in the Far East, and seeks a power he does not yet understand. A drop of the blood of creation, the World Egg. Only the gods now know if our adventurers can find it before him, and save this plane from the evil wizard's grasp. They will travel through conquered cities, desolate swamps, and even through the 9 deserts before they're through. Welcome, my friends, to Azemar.
Dude, 9 deserts. That sounds cool.
You think 9 deserts might be superfluous? Like after the 7th desert, do you think, you know what? I've reached my quota of deserts.
Silence, Bobby. You need all 9.
Nabarasiba.
Bobby, this means more dinosaur racing.
It does.
Yeah. Speaking of which, like, do we need to do we still lay low from that?
We'll see. All right. So, when we last left the party... I'm clicking on buttons. When we last left the party, you were all staying at the Mountain of Fire as guests of the new Dwarven King Rogar Ironheart.
It's true.
You had helped him to retrieve the Warhammer of Moradin from deep within the Tomb of Annihilation.
Which was super baller.
And he has now returned to the Mountain of Fire, shown his right to rule, and is, for now, ruling the dwarves. They seem to be willing to follow him, at least in this current assault against the orcs. He convinced them of the need to go to war with the orcs across the bridge in West Azemar, before the orcs' bloodlust takes them across the bridge and into Isari. Since we left the party, Theo and Aridin have been training, both learning smithing techniques from the dwarves, in addition to the basics of large-scale warfare. Not something that the Eldris brothers are, as of yet, familiar with.
Nope.
You generals.
Theo has become more comfortable with the powers that he's gained from his elder spirit Euron.
Cool.
But mostly only as long as Aridin is by his side. Theo has not left Aridin's side since the strange events that night.
Sounds like me.
if you're curious of the strange events of that night, well, please watch Princes of the Plains Sigil. It's a good episode.
Only if you want to cry for like 3 hours.
It was a solid episode. Highly endorsed.
Yeah, there was tears.
So mechanically what this means for Theo's powers, I've talked with you about this before, but I want to say it for our viewers.
Should I be writing this down?
It's already written down elsewhere.
It's in Slack.
Okay.
But yes, once per rest, you can do what is essentially a modified mass suggestion.
Sick.
The modification details we'll get to. When you use it, you already know them. Similarly, Eridan's powers have a mechanical once per rest kind of thing going on. Just so everyone knows, his power to detect lying. Eridan has sought out some clerical assistance and learned more about Lathander, the Morning Lord, and what it means to be a paladin of the Morning Lord. Pharaoh has disappeared into the night, taking that clone of Irina with him. They haven't been seen since. And viewers, if you want to see where they went, watch Princes of the Plains Shadowfell.
Can I make an amendment to the things that I said I wanted to do during the season break now that I have just watched that episode, but literally finished it this morning?
Well, I mean, sure.
It's small. It's a really small amendment. It doesn't change anything. I just want to, when that happens, obviously I'm going to be like, again. And then I'm just going to, when Rodre goes to pray and stuff, I'm going to go with him. And specifically, each time, I'm going to pray for the fate and souls of Pharaoh and other Arena. Be like, couldn't save her from whatever was...
Do you know what happened?
Huh?
You don't know what
Do you
happened.
know?
You just know they vanished.
No, I just know they're gone. And, like,
Oh, okay.
Pharaoh has been with me through a lot of shit.
Don't forget Emerald. He disappeared in the night too.
Oh, yeah, and Emerald. I pray for him, too, because holy fuck, why does everyone leave who's useful?
Does that imply that the folks around are not?
No, I just, you know.
All right. So they disappeared in the night.
Dirk's just been meditating this whole time.
I'll get to Dirk. Just hold on.
Okay, cool. Oh, sorry.
That's
Why
awesome.
don't you tell him what you did?
Koros, you've been reunited with your old friend Donavar. You've been filling him in on everything he missed and like where the fuck he is and what's going on.
Yeah. Did we ever figure out, like, what happened to him? Because it seems like he seems to think he sort of just, like, died in that tower and showed up in hell.
That is all he, from his memory, that's all he's got.
Because that one devil claimed he made a bargain, but he didn't seem to think he made a bargain.
That's all that he remembers,
Okay.
is what I will say. He's
That's
also
fair.
much older than when he died, y'all were in your early teens, and he looks to be an
Yeah.
adult now.
Okay. Interesting.
There might be a gap there.
Time passes differently in planes, weird thing, whatever.
Sounds like you have some experience.
Irina has been working with the Barovians, including the Vistani, to make plans for a new home for them.
Ah, sick.
In the short term, the plan is that they will come to Aurum with the dwarves and everyone else. But after the east is retaken, there should be plenty of room for them there.
Cool.
Fashion Dragon Dirk Courage has been spending some time meditating and talking to Dirk Courage Classic. To avoid confusion, Fashion Dragon has started using his given name, Nadam Ilrio Nazir.
This is correct.
Dirk Classic...
It's the commonized version of his draconic name.
Yeah, his
so you can
draconic
say
name
it.
is not really pronounceable by human mouths.
Fair.
Dirk Classic has been coming and going because he is now essentially a figurine of wondrous power. A little figurine of Dirk, and you say, "I choose you, Dirk Courage," and he pops
It's
up.
a figurine of wondrous Dirk.
It's a figurine of wondrous Dirk.
Sick.
And when anyone has asked him about where he goes when he's a figurine, he can't really explain it too much in words, but basically his consciousness is exploring the astral plane. That's about as much as he
Ooh.
can
That's pretty cool.
verbalize about it.
Good for him.
It's really cool is basically what he tells you.
Sounds really cool.
Irina and Eridan had some remaining business in Kirsabal. Rather than set forth themselves, you've arranged for a wizard courier, one of Rogar's best, to teleport directly there with 2 tasks. One, depetrify Sindra Sylvain, Irina's long-lost mother, who Emerald petrified to help stop the death curse on her. And 2, to tell Princess Moxanare to meet y'all in the city of Orem to prove herself worthy of the Chalice of Chikagawa that Aridin and the party retrieved for her. You didn't want to send the Chalice with the courier because you promised you would deliver it by hand, and you don't know if you trust this courier, and also you want her to show some.
You want her to
metal.
show up and shut out?
I mostly just want to impress her. I like pretty good right now with all my Morning Lord stuff. Wash the blood off.
She needs to show what she's made of. Like, we don't know anything about this shit.
I mean, it's Daenerys Targaryen, so we do.
Yeah, but like, she hasn't done anything yet. She's literally done nothing. She needs to live up to her name.
Does that make me Jon Snow? Spoilers.
It might.
Yes, it does. Secretly, you're related. That's good.
Wow, spoilers.
Double
to brood more.
spoilers.
Yeah.
Is it a spoiler?
I mean, not anymore. There's a time limit on these things.
Well, I was saying it is a spoiler because the book.
It hasn't happened in the books yet, so sorry, we're going to focus. The dwarves have been mobilizing for war, making weapons and armor, and they have stone-shaped out of the mountain these giant stone ships.
That's metal. I mean stone.
Are you proud of that one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he is.
And they have set forth these great stone ships down the Kinyo River towards the city of Orem, with all y'all there. That travel takes roughly 10 days, and upon your arrival in Orem, you find that while the merchant princes are still in control of the city, there's this sort of tenuous peace between them and the very numerous refugees who have come across the bridge.
We dealt with that a little bit before leaving, but I'm sure it only got more intense after we left.
Mm-hmm. You guys actually find out that Koros's old rebel buddies have formed a more organized leadership for the refugees, and they've been negotiating with the city for resources, and have become a pretty formidable political force themselves in the city.
Nice.
Hey!
Good job,
We're in
Rebel Dudes.
Orem!
Respect.
You
This
guys,
is where Wakanga lives.
you guys are returned to the villa of Wakanga Otamu,
That guy has my shit.
and you retrieve the possessions you have stored there. Let me frickin' talk.
I'm so happy right now.
What can I go forever?
So anything that you guys had stored there, you have back. Feel free to.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what I had stored.
No, don't worry. That's why I made a spreadsheet.
Lily did indeed make a spreadsheet. She can go link it
on.
in Slack, and then y'all can take a look.
Working on it right now.
All right. Wakanga is at first surprised to see Nadam with the party, but he understands after everything is explained to him. He, asks you guys to read out all your tales to tell. No, don't. Oh my God, Lily.
Is that bad?
Yes, absolutely, that is bad.
Sorry.
Hide it.
Edit.
Hold on. Go edit the sharing settings on the document right now,
Okay.
so that no one can edit from the link.
Okay, I already shared with all you hoes. Whatever.
I said Slack.
Whatever.
Amazing.
Whatever, man.
Edit the sharing settings right now.
I'm
All right.
editing it right now. No, it already is shared to all these hoes.
Make sure that it's not anyone with the link can edit.
It's not.
Okay.
It's because they can look at it. It was already fine. Whatever.
All right.
There you go. I did it the right way.
You guys, you tell all of your stories to Wakanga. He asks all of what's happening. He wants to know all about the soulmonger in the tomb, and all the details. You guys end up spending a few days in Orem because what's happening is that negotiations are occurring between the merchant princes, the dwarves, and the leadership of the refugees. Arrangements are being made. Rogar's given you some basic updates The refugees have certain demands. The merchant princes are ambivalent. There's all this like back and forth that needs to be determined before they'll commit their people, their resources, to marching back and taking Angate back. So after a few days, you all are resting at Wakanga's villa. And Rogar comes in the door. He bursts it open, and he's super grumpy. He's just really obvious from his body language. And he's mumbling to himself, and he goes right over to the bar and like pours himself. They don't have good ale here. They've got that tej, which is that honey. It's like mead.
This is Rogar, right?
Yeah,
Does he pour himself like whatever they have here, and then pick up a thing of whiskey and dump it in there?
that's exactly what he does. He gets
That sounds very
he gets a
encouraging.
bottle of tej and pours it into a glass, and then he pulls out like a big old flask of dwarven whiskey and dumps that in there.
Sorry, we're chilling at a bar and this happens?
No, this is at Wakanga's villa.
He's a bar in the villa?
Yeah.
Several.
Yeah.
This guy is way cool.
If I remember correctly, there's one every 50 feet?
It's like,
I want to be
I
this
think-
guy when I retire.
I think that was in character.
That was in character.
Oh.
He says, "Damn refugees making demands."
What do they want? I'm gonna get a beer too, and then like not put whiskey in it.
And he says, "They want assurances that if and when we take back all of West Azemar, that we will ensure their independence from the old empire."
That seems like a pretty tall order.
Yeah, you're telling me.
I agree.
Getting the dwarves to commit to taking back West Azemar and stopping the orcs was enough. I don't think I can convince anyone that we can ensure their independence. Nor am I even sure we could.
I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't ask that from you. You've already done so much.
The mages were the end of the dwarven kingdoms 1,000 years ago.
Do we know about this?
You maybe only very, like, I've heard little bits here and there.
I don't know if this is the time to ask him about it. So I guess
What you basically have gathered is that the dwarves really don't like the old empire of Azemar, and they especially don't like the mages of the Arcane Circle.
Which, to be fair, mages, not great.
I'm a little bit lame.
And then he takes a big glug of whiskey tej, and he says, "My generals are becoming restless. They're ready for war, not negotiations with would-be allies. Some of them are threatening to leave for Angate early or return to the Mountain of Fire. I've done my best to quash insubordination, but things are coming to a head. I know you've already done so much for me, but I'd like to ask another favor of you.
Sure. Anything.
Do you think that the lot of you could come to the negotiation table this afternoon?
I like making deals.
Let me.
Yeah.
No. No.
Dwarves are good at
Yes.
talking.
I'm
You're
not very good at talking.
you're well respected here, especially you two. And he points at Theo and Irina.
Oh.
He says,
That was gonna be Improdre.
"The
I thought it was
refugees,
gonna be fluent.
the refugees remember what you did for them when they arrived.
Oh yeah, you weren't
still
there. You were
talk
kind
about
of wasting money.
Yeah, you guys were off.
We should be respected for because we won.
You guys were off,
They did.
We were being
Racing.
entrepreneurs.
and then getting a warning from the Atepka Society."
We were basically heroes for those like 20 minutes.
We could.
It felt good. That's what matters.
One day.
All right. Yeah, we can come.
I mean,
I
suppose,
you like-
yeah.
Give us like cheat cards with talking points. Like what is your end goal? Like best situation for you, and what do you think the best situation is for them?
Wakanga and the Merchant Princes guarantee their support and their resources.
For the campaign across the bridge.
For the campaign across the bridge.
That
The
makes
refugees
sense. They need our protection.
send their fittest to be infantry soldiers to march across that bridge
All right.
and take back West Azemar with us.
All right.
And we don't have to make any guarantees about anyone's independence.
What
I have
are
to
you?
say. Oh, sorry. Go
You
ahead.
can go first.
I understand where you're coming from. Absolutely. I mean, it's incredibly difficult to guarantee anything in situations like this, but I have to say, I'm sure it is difficult for their people to send their strongest without any hope of any form of independence or anything that will.
They're getting their
guarantee-
homes back. Their independence is another matter completely.
Yeah.
So they
They
were.
had long, good lives under the Empire, and they can continue under the Empire for all I care.
All right. Well, let's go to the thing and hear their grievances. Maybe they have better reasons for not wanting to be under the Empire than we know right now.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
let
maybe
me
they
ask you
don't.
this:
Yeah. Maybe they
what
don't.
are you
Who
willing
knows?
to compromise on?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sending all my men and all my armies to take back their homeland.
I
Look.
understand it should be almost nothing, but they want independence, but you can't give that to them, or you don't want to reasonably.
It's that I
Could you-
can't.
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah.
Could you give them something else, some kind of, I don't know, defense
just
treaty or trading or like
representation.
exclusive trading rights or something to show that
Trade we can
as-
offer them.
they
Defense is
become-
harder. If the old Empire doesn't like the idea of an independent West Azemar, then
then
They're gonna
just
send the
equip them
mages
with the finest dwarven weapons you can. My point is, give them something to show so that they believe they have a chance of staying independent.
Trade is a good bargaining.
I'm willing to offer exclusive trade deals, access to dwarven weaponry,
I think that's a fantastic place to start.
anything short of committing dwarven forces.
The dragon speaks truth. I agree.
They've spoken first, which means they are not going to get that. They probably know they're not going to get that. That's why they're asking something so outrageous. So we'll meet them in the middle, and they'll get something they're happy with.
And he says, well, we'll see what they say at the table. They really do have a lot of respect for you two.
See how far it gets us.
And for all of y'all, they've heard stories about how you've stopped the death curse and
How you became a goat.
saved the land.
Is he still a
Koros, you're,
goat?
Obviously, if we go to the negotiation table, I'm going to use disguise self and not look like a goat.
Oh.
But Koros is still
leave this
very
down
much a
for
goat when he doesn't disguise himself.
I actually think you look better like this.
Suits you.
I mean, it's better than the lack of teeth thing that was happening.
Ah,
The lack of teeth thing was not a high point, I agree.
Yeah.
The lesson of the lack of teeth thing is always make deals.
But
always.
Koros, truly, you are rather good at these talking situations. It would be good to have you, I'm sure.
I can talk to people.
Okay.
So, one more thing I forgot. Princess Moxanare has arrived.
Oh.
And she thinks
Sheridan. Nice.
Oh, really?
that she's the boss of the world.
Tell me about it.
And it's made the negotiations just that much worse that I've been needing this drink.
Who invited her to this? Oh, wait.
Sheridan, we have a very specific mission for you.
I'll see what I can do.
Here's what you gotta do.
She might be more amenable
Okay.
Eridan,
in the
Here's
future.
what you gotta do.
Eridan, can I pick your wardrobe?
What's wrong with this? I've been wearing this for
I
6 months.
support this.
That is what's wrong with it.
Fashion Dragon, please help.
Say no more.
Oh, Lord.
Please, Eridan.
Green with a accent of green.
I can work with that.
Pale green with sort of green trim.
Thank you, Lily.
Wooden toggles.
Toggles.
No, you're gonna go to this, and you're gonna fix this. You're gonna just take care of this whole situation, and then everything will be easier.
Are you talking about my fashion or the princess?
Both, honestly, both. They go together. Cool. I like this plan. When is the negotiation happening?
And he says, we're on lunch break now. It
Oh, I was gonna say,
resumes
please-
in
please
an
say
hour
tomorrow.
or so.
That's just enough time. Come with me, Aridin.
Aaron?
Okay.
Yeah, go with him.
Y'all have been eating all morning, because, like, in Wakanga's villa, there's just all kinds of food.
Is this Dragon
Oh,
Eye
weird.
for the straight guy?
Yes.
Yes, it is. It is Dragon Eye for the straight guy.
Dragon Eye for the fighter guy.
Dragon Eye for the blacksmith
Well, I was going
guy.
to say, have we established that Aridin's straight?
True. We haven't.
We
Yeah,
The only ones I've fallen for have been women.
so
He's
far.
at least into women.
Oh yeah, I take Aridin off, and I'm sure I don't have anything that fits him, but
But
you know,
there's all sorts of
I
markets
flag
nearby.
down. I flag down a tailor, and I go to the market, and I get them all dolled up, and I go for kind of it's definitely very Aridin. It's not too flashy. It's sort of utilitarian, but really well fitted. Really
It makes
accentuating.
such a difference.
The big broad blacksmith thing he's got going on.
Oh, yeah.
Is it like Aragorn when he goes to Rivendell?
It's a lot of that, but just flashy enough because
I'm good with
she's a
that.
princess. Just enough. There's some jewelry happening. Get your hair done. You
Okay.
look great.
Look,
I'm not sure about the hair.
Don't touch it.
I really like books. I'll be right back.
Stop that.
Yeah, don't touch it.
All right.
It's like a toss-up look. He looks great. That's what we do.
Anyone have anything else they want to do before heading off to the negotiations?
Yeah, I'd like to commune with my doppelganger, since I assume the people I'm negotiating with are going to be, at least have some overlap with the people I used to lead.
Yes.
And see if I can get sort of any insights about just, how to effectively negotiate with them.
Let's have a charisma check. For those of you who have not watched previous seasons, this is a little funky, but basically the party came here into bodies of their other selves from this plane, like doppelgangers, so they can access the memories of these other selves in this plane, native to this plane, with charisma checks.
Which I'm good at.
Which you are very good at. Yes, you start thinking about it, and the memories start flooding back. You remember some of the names of some of the people who were in charge with your rebel group. You absolutely remember what they were for and what they wanted. They wanted, independence for West Azemar. They wanted the refugees to be equal citizens here in Orem. Like all the sorts of things that rebellious people want: independence and equality and that sort of thing.
Tax-free tea.
Throw all the
You know that
into the bag.
some of their main grievances against Azemar, the standard, taxation without representation, but
Nash.
more concretely, when the orcs first attacked, the mages did come to defend. Azemar sent their forces to defend West Azemar, and then after some time, they just sort of gave up. And no one got a good explanation as to why, and that's when everything went to shit.
Okay.
And so they're really pissed that Azemar just abandoned them in their time of need.
Right.
That the Empire, the elves up in their city of Azai, they just gave up on the predominantly human region of West Azemar.
Okay, that makes sense.
Anything else you want to dig for or no?
No, I can't think of anything specifically.
Cool. Excuse me. Does anyone else have anything else they want to do before we head off to negotiations?
Dirk goes to his room. He gets all dolled up. He gets out this dusty sword that's been in here for as long as he's been gone with no one touching it. That's a big draconic longsword with a wax seal where the sword meets it that has not been broken, and he puts it on.
So there's a seal on the scabbard?
So that if you drew it, you would break it.
Interesting.
And he puts it on.
I would love to hear more about that later.
I will tell you all about it.
Great. Oh, we lost Nicole.
She's been in and out. She's having some connection issues.
Sadness.
All right. So, after the end of the lunch hour, Rogar takes y'all back. You have been to this building before, the building where the negotiations are occurring. You were last there because you were returning the children of the people of Orem that were up in the mage asylum and had been abandoned. They'd been kidnapped.
Hashtag abandoned. It was
Kidnapped
bad.
by the mages and then abandoned. And so you have returned. You had returned to those children before, so you've been to this place before. It is not nearly as busy now as it was then. All the parents coming in to figure out what had happened to their kids and all that. They lead you to this large, the audience chamber where there's a set of 9, sort of throne-like chairs in a large circle that normally hold the 9 merchant princes. But today they have set a table in the center, and there are chairs around the table, a lot more than 9 chairs, a large circular table. So that all of the parties involved can be seated. There are the 9 merchant princes. There is Rogar and his retinue of generals. There is the leaders of the refugees there, and there's room for all of you, and also Princess Moxanare.
Does anybody accompany her? Like, did she come alone or did she bring an attendant?
She has come alone.
Aridin, get over there.
It's quite improper.
Play cool.
Aridin, you should offer to walk in with her. She needs an attendant.
Aridin,
No.
come on. Be excellent, be desireless, and then retreat. You got it.
Already on,
Go.
dude. Just gonna walk in. I'm just gonna, look around. But is she looking at me?
She's not seen you yet.
This is the best.
All right, I'm going to quickly, very subtly, cast an illusion. Literally just like sort of a flash of light in the corner of her eye in the direction of Aridin. Just like pop into existence and pop out.
A little
Or
glint.
this is just plus man.
Who went to my hair?
A momentary glint, and then she does a double take, and then she sees Aridin, and a big ol' smile comes across her face, and then a bit of a scowl, and you see she marches right over to you, and she says, "Why did you make me travel all the way here, through the jungle, across these rivers, into these past the vile undead? Why didn't you bring the chalice to me?"
Oh, girl.
I was under the impression you wanted to lead. These are the people that you need help from to lead.
And none of them will follow me. I don't
Not if you
understand.
yell at them.
I am their rightful queen.
Then prove it.
People are starting to look because she's being loud.
Oh, damn you.
First of all, have some freaking dignity. Screaming.
Oh, damn. She's getting shut down right now.
Second of all, I'm gonna help you out. I'm here,
I know.
aren't I?
She says, "You are here. You have the chalice?"
I do.
Excellent.
I'm a man of my word.
Excellent. Do you have it with you?
Do I have it with me? I believe I do.
I feel like you wouldn't take it off your person.
Yes.
And she reaches out for it. Are you going to hand it to her?
Are you gonna? I thought you said you wanted to see her charter first.
Oh. That's right.
She reaches
Inside
and then
voice
you
in my
pull
head
back.
just now, and I realized I wanted you to write a charter while I was gone. Did you do that?
No. A queen doesn't need to write a charter.
Then how's she gonna have any laws in her queendom?
That's what magistrates are for.
And how are you gonna hire the magistrates if you don't have a way to have to do that?
That's what the chalice is for.
You're gonna pay them with the chalice?
No, I'll have the chalice and they'll know that I'm their queen.
That's not enough. People need more than that.
Worked for the dwarf and his stupid hammer.
He's here negotiating with his
You keep
people
saying
right now.
stupid hammer in front of us. I'm I'm gonna turn my back to her.
Listen, there's a lot of work that goes into being a ruler. You can't just show up with a magical item and say, "Hey, it's me." Strange women handing out swords from a lake is no basis for assisting the government.
Exactly.
Fine. I'll write a damn charter.
can Nadam and Koros be sitting next to each other, kind of far away but close enough to watch?
I feel like
absolutely.
the 3 of us were eating peanuts. Maybe you're peanut too.
Oh,
this is the good
y'all are
part.
only a few feet away, and also she's so loud, everyone can hear this conversation.
Oh, okay.
God, what an obnoxious.
I've been matching volume. I don't care.
Hey, Koros. Hey, Koros.
I'm right next to you. I can hear you.
Yeah, I know. I think he could do better. She's
I mean, look, she's a queen. I mean, maybe, right? Like,
Good
we'll see.
queen.
fair.
If she gets the kingdom back, like,
Yeah.
Koros,
Different plan.
what I'll also say that you say, because you've got a nice high passive perception,
right?
she
Not me.
seems a bit. I mean, you got 16, right? So,
Yeah.
she
Pharaoh's
seems.
got like 23 though. I always feel overshadowed by him.
He's not here no more. So she seems a little bit unkempt. Like, she arrived from the jungle today. You can see where she's like tried to tuck her hair back, but it's all messed up, and where there's like a few rips here and there that she's tried to cover with her cloak. And like,
Right.
you can just tell that she has not had a good travel through the jungle.
No, clearly not.
And hasn't had time since arriving today to gather
Dwarf's
herself.
lost her luggage.
Can I get like a 30-second primer on the various groups and factions again? Because I've
Yes.
forgotten some of what's going on in the continent right now. So I'm trying to decide if I want to help her or not.
Dude, she's kind of a bitch. I really don't.
Yeah, but she's the queen.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Let's talk.
if somebody is a queen, you hit it and quit it. And then you have blackmail. And then it's easy.
All right, let's talk Isari. Roughly 100 years ago, there was a rather small kingdom of Omu and the city of Mesro. Those were the two major independent powers in Isari. Most of the rest of Isari was colonized by Azemar. 1,000 years ago, there was a giant kingdom of Omu, but then Azemar showed up.
They just
And then the old empire showed up. So in those 100 years ago, Mesro fell, Omu fell. The jungle kind of went to shit and got filled with zombies. Over the last 100 years, Isari has become a much less nice place. And earlier this year, the old empire of Azemar pulled out of Isari. They've been slowly losing ground and all this undead stuff, and then complications with some other things caused them to leave. The merchant princes, who had before sort of run things under the Azemaran governors, then took over the city of Orem, the port city with the big old bridge. So that's the major political force here. They control the city and areas near the city, but not much outside of that.
It's hard. There's jungle.
Yeah, there's a lot of jungle. The other political force here that's at the table is the refugees. So these are refugees from West Azemar, the far side of the bridge, that have been displaced by the orcs, coming in and wrecking their shit. They've come here, and they are now being led by what used to be your small rebel faction, but now appears to be like an organized leadership for the refugees.
And Angate used to be under control of Azemar Empire, right?
Correct. It was a major city of the old Empire of Azemar.
And so they got attacked by the orcs, and the Empire was like,
See ya.
"You dicked. Sorry."
Yep.
Got it.
And then the last group at the table is the dwarves, led by Rogar.
Right.
The dwarves haven't had a king in over 1,000 years, roughly coinciding with when Azemar came across the bridge and fucked everything up. Rogar is now, at least temporarily, their king. There's
So
sort
he
of,
needs to do a good job. This is like a PR event.
yeah, the various clan leaders and generals are putting their trust in him for now, because he retrieved the hammer and
He wants
proved his
territory on the other side of the bridge, or he just wants to kill orcs.
He wants to stop the orcs because he's worried, and he's convinced others to worry with him, that the
that
orcs,
they're gonna come.
their bloodlust will not be satisfied there, and they'll cross the bridge and take Isari.
Orcs do not sow.
So just
They
beat
come
the
and they
orcs
take everything
back.
and they keep going.
beat the orcs
And
back
Daenerys-
and then give them their land back.
And Daenerys Targaryen just wants her otherwise titular kingdom to actually be a kingdom.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And what lands does she rule?
Half a city, I think.
She's been hanging out at a monastery with a bunch of bird people.
Right, but like, what is she supposed to be doing?
She's supposed to be ruling Omu. Your old
okay.
friends Lucanu and Nell are holding down the palace for
Fine,
her.
okay,
Last you
got
heard.
it. I mean, there were zombies there and crazy stuff. So
Yeah, they said they were going to deal with the Yuan Ti and then hold the city to wait for the queen.
and I guess settlers because there's literally no one there.
Yeah, that too.
You should bring that up in your negotiations with her. At
Dude,
any
I don't know
time.
what she wants. She's like, I want my kingdom, and I'm like, it's a jungle.
And it's crappy, and you really need to make some great advertisements if you want people to move there.
Back to
Like, all your money needs to be in marketing right now.
Wakanga speaks up and is beginning to convene the various parties around the table to begin the
and
negotiations.
we can't be mean to him because he stored all our shit and was really nice to us.
Wakanga's really nice to you guys.
Yeah.
He's a cool bro.
So, like, people we can't be mean to are Rogar, Wakanga, and yeah, that's actually it.
Feel free to be mean to my girlfriend.
Yeah, she sucks.
She's being real dumb right now.
She sucks. Honestly, she sucks. You really know how to pick them.
She's not dead.
At least she's not dead.
yet.
And she made it through the jungle all by herself. Good for her.
Not all by herself. She came here with the dwarven courier who
She had one thing going for her.
Who?
I mean, she only
Did
had
the
one
courier not
visit.
make it?
he made it. He's here.
Sorry, you like trailed off. Like
No,
who-
he's
who
just
did
not
not.
here right at this place right now.
Okay.
I mean, she still did pretty good. She only had one wizard. It took us a team of how many of us to get through that jungle?
That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
She's not totally useless. She's just kind of being lame right now.
All right, should we take a seat?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's sit.
Now
I
that
do
we've
not
worked all that
I
out.
do not
This
currently
pizza break
look
was
like
super
a
fun.
goat, by the way. But I don't look like myself either, because I don't want them to think I am actually like that would be a lot to explain. I don't want to look like they're actually
So you're just
long
gonna
dead chieftain.
look like Biff
Just some
Longsteel
dude.
or something, right? Like-
Yeah,
Some guy.
just some guy.
All right. Hey!
Hello.
Hey, Snackus has entered the game.
Just then,
No,
right
not the
before,
Snackus.
What?
right before you enter to convene, Brandon, there's a button in International Nox to create a new character. Go do that, and then come back.
Oh yeah, you're right. Bye.
Peace, friend.
No more Snackus.
I had a vision of
But
Pharaoh
Snackus.
for a moment.
Snackus.
Gone
Right
now.
building.
But it was just a dream.
No joke. Brandon was rolling his stats in the car on the way here. He was messaging me.
Respect.
Well, in the meantime, before session convenes, I will. I imagine that I put on one of my nicer cloaks. With I probably had one with the old Morning Lord symbol or something like that. I would go up to Princess Moxonari and Danny, and give it to her because you said that her cloak was kind of completely tattered and dirty and a kind of disaster.
So her cloak is all right. She's using it to cover
Oh,
up
never
her blouse and her clothing.
That I wouldn't have done that.
Is kind of tattered. It was a nice,
'Cause I don't.
a nice thought.
She hasn't had time to freshen up since her journey.
Because Morning Lord is so last season.
I mean, I don't need the cloak anymore.
You should just Sharpie
I
it.
really like the idea, though. That's very kind.
I tried.
I also need to set up a thing so that
Arena's very chivalrous.
Brandon will actually show up when he shows up.
Arena of the White Knight.
It's true.
Do. I'll have to refresh this once he joins, because otherwise he won't show up on the screen. Whoa, that's not supposed to be there. Oops.
No, Chorus, this kind of reminds me of home.
Reminds you of what?
Home. Where I'm from.
I don't know where you're from.
Oh, I'm from the Dragonlands up north.
What about this reminds you of the Dragonlands up north?
We have these big councils with all the clan leaders who come together and decide big decisions that affect everyone. It feels like
Does anything
that.
get done?
Absolutely nothing.
So, nothing will get done here either. Don't worry.
It's a duocracy. If you want something done, you just do it.
All right, so Wakanga gathers everyone in. Everyone quiets down and comes around the table. And he says, I believe when we made recess, Thanazar Olrung had the floor. Thanazar? And you see a man rise, and he says, thank you, Wakanga. And Theo and Irina, you immediately recognize this man from Season 4, Episode 3.
I'm in the wrong place.
This was oh yeah, don't worry. Now that you're here, I can fix that.
I've transformed and I'm in the wrong place.
I'll fix it in
Oh my
just a
gosh, you're in
moment.
the astral plane.
Oh my gosh.
I have to go hit a button that I was accidentally showing on stream earlier. Then I'll just do it over here in this tab so it doesn't show up on stream. Let's set that to 10 and that to 3 and click save and voila!
Hey.
Oh, now I
Hello.
think I can hear people properly too.
There you
Where's
go.
Bailey?
All right.
Welcome back.
Barnum.
He's a wizard.
I have
All right.
no idea what's happening.
You recognize Thanazar Olrung from Season 3. He was one of the refugees that you helped. He had just come from Angate, and he had told you what had happened. I straight up found this name in my notes and was like, this is perfect. He appears that he is now the leader of the refugees.
Good for him.
And he says, I'm glad to see that the brave adventurers who ended the death curse are able to join us here today. Maybe they can help us make some progress here. And he actually gets up and walks around the table towards you, Theo, and he says, how are you doing, Theo? It's good to see you again. And he holds out a hand to shake your hand.
I shake it, and I'm like,
And then he
"That's
turns that into one of those awkward hugs.
awkward bro hugs, and I'm like, you have done well here and made much progress.
And he says, I took inspiration from you. You took command of your fate and helped the refugees, and I thought to myself, I can do that. And he
Well,
comes over
you
to...
have-
Go ahead.
You've done much more than that. You've built them up, made them stronger.
And he comes over and he says, Irina, it is good to see you too. And he reaches out for a handshake hug.
Yeah, handshake hug. It is good to see you well.
And he says, your empathy inspired me to help people. And I'm glad you could make it here today.
Oh.
And then he gestures to the rest of you and he says, I'm glad that you're all here today.
Of course, I don't think we inspired anyone while we were here.
We inspired some great spectacles.
Gamblers?
No, a bunch of them lost money because we weren't supposed to win.
And then he turns back to the table and he says, what we want is simple. We want, when our lands are returned to us, and we thank you, Rogar and fellow dwarves, for helping assist us in this. But if we simply take back our lands to immediately cede them to the old empire, it will not be enough. They abandon us in our time of need. They take our resources and give us little back, if not protection, one of the most fundamental of our rights as citizens of the old empire. Then they do not deserve to take our resources and to govern us. We will be makers of our own destiny, and until a time as which as we will be able to defend ourselves, we simply want assurances from Orem and from the kingdom of the dwarves of our defense and protection. You can see everyone starting to get riled up again and wants to respond. I don't know if anyone wants to interject.
Oh wait, should I use my mass suggestion thing?
You want, if I may, you want independence.
The table
As it were.
recognizes...
Qualos. No, I guess there's no point in hiding my name. Huh? I can just be Qualos. Because they wouldn't have known me.
Solrock.
Never mind, yeah, just Qualos, Ravenrock.
He says, the table recognizes Quaros Ravenrock.
If I may seek to clarify your position, you want independence from the old empire, who you believe has forfeited their claim of sovereignty. But there is no representative from the old empire here. There is no one we can negotiate. We're marching off to war on the other end of the world with a foe we barely know the strength of. It seems senseless to demand those kinds of assurances in the face of the uncertainty we face. Is there something more concrete that might be a better building block here?
We simply want a promise that once the orcs are dealt with, if they're even dealt with, we may all die in the process, in which case this is all a moot point. But if the orcs are dealt with, and we return to our homes, that the dwarves and the city of Orem will lend us their protections.
I nudge Fashion Dragon, the Nazir, and
Yes, what?
jump in with the trade offer thing we talked about.
If Rogar doesn't want to talk, Nadam will stand up and sort of like nod if he needs to be recognized or
Say
something.
something about concrete stuff, so.
Nod if he needs to be recognized or something by the person running this, or can he just talk?
Does the chair recognize the fashion dragon?
Oh, the chair recognizes
Yeah,
Nadam.
well, I don't know if you're going to do that. or not.
Ilio,
Comes up
Nazir,
and
sorry.
says, I say, perhaps in the future, such an agreement can be made after the orcs are dealt with. But for now, would you accept similar assurances of aid and protection, of exclusive trading rights, or promises to supply arms and armor to help you defend yourselves should such a need arise? I've spoken with Rogar, and I'm sure the merchant princes would be happy to move heaven and earth to provide the new Azemar. What do these people call themselves?
Angate.
Engage.
Angate's the city, West Azmar's the area. They haven't come up with a name for what they would name their shit yet.
This new republic.
This new republic, yeah.
This new republic, the tools it needs to defend itself. And you've seen that the old empire can't deal with the orcs. If you can, they would think twice of meddling with you, especially with two of these great allies supplying you.
And he says,
And who knows, maybe down the line, they will be coming to you asking if they could have the honor of being your allies.
and he says, an interesting proposition. And he says, but if we're talking about other guarantees we could have, there's one guarantee that would mean quite a lot to me. And he turns towards you, Theo. And he says, if I had the guarantee of the great warrior Theo Eldris, Theoden Eldris, that he would lead our people to defend us against the mages of the old empire, then in addition to trade agreements, perhaps we could find that amenable.
All of the mages cast a spell.
This is like he's asking me to like go to battle, right? Not to like stick around.
He's absolutely asking you to lead, to be a general for these people.
I'll say it
Yes.
would be a great honor to defend all that you've worked for. I ask only for the wisdom, counsel, and co-collaboration of my compatriots.
And he says,
You guys.
of course, I understand that you and your brother are refugees yourselves.
Indeed.
That you've lost
I'll
your
stand
home
up.
and family to the orcs.
Yes.
The table recognizes Irina Kolyana.
If our friend thinks that is a wise choice, then I'm sure we would all be happy to aid. Might I also suggest potential training of any able bodies in your group that do not know how to fight? I'm sure that there are members among us and among the dwarves who may be willing to help with teaching you some skills.
Indeed, I in fact believe that the dwarves have already lent their training to our people. That has been going on during these
was a good
deliberations.
Just checking.
No, an excellent suggestion.
I'm like looking at Aridin and I'm like making the face of like, oh, we're gonna do this another crazy thing.
Really like you.
I know. I don't feel like I did anything that cool.
It says, Theo and Aridin, do we have your leadership?
I've already pledged myself to Rogar's cause. As long as he's leading the charge, I'm happy to help.
What about our cause? I'd like you, plural, to lead the charge for our people, to take back our homes.
Warring brothers.
If it is the will of the council, we will lead.
And he says,
Kind companions.
What are you freaking out about?
and he says, then, Rogar, if you were amenable to the trade deal that Nadam suggested, I could have our magistrates write it up and we could have a treaty by the end of the day. And Rogar says, I think we'd find that acceptable. He says, excellent. Then, if the merchant princes agree as well, I think we can convene. We can, well, not convene, that's the opposite of convene. We can adjourn, thank you.
Retire?
We can adjourn this council and make preparations for war. And he turns to the princes, and the princes all sort of make eye contact with each other, and one by one they raise a hand and say, aye. Because they're eager to get the refugees out of their city. And with that, someone bangs a gavel and says, this council is adjourned.
Is it a stone gavel?
It's a stone gavel. It's a dwarf.
Did a dwarf bring it?
A dwarf brought it. It almost breaks the table.
Actually, it's just a miniature hammer of Moradin. That's all it is.
People have been making new ones to look like that.
It's a miniature hammer of Moradin of thundering, so that it makes a
Bunch
lot
in
of
the
sound.
gift shop.
As everyone gets up to leave and they open the doors,
Did Princess Mowaxanari like literally not talk in that whole thing?
She's got nothing to offer.
she
What something to offer?
was a bit cowed by Aridin,
Good.
and sort of remained silent throughout that. And she seems, when you look at her, she looks tired and pensive.
So the meeting's over and everyone's kind of dispersing?
Yeah, and as you guys are the doors are opening, people are running out, you see a dwarf heading over to you. Bernum, you have spent the last few days traveling through the jungle. You were approached by Rogar with an important mission to go teleport to Kirsabal, deliver a message.
That was you!
Unpetrify a particular person, and then travel with this person you sent the message to the city of Orem to meet back up with Rogar for battle.
Cool.
Because you are, after all, one of his best war mages.
And sorry, I've been absent the last hour. Is he heading towards the bridge? Are they
Yep.
already in Orem?
We are in
Or not
Orem.
Sorry. Yeah, Orem, yeah.
We are in Orem,
Council.
getting all sorts of negotiations to form an alliance to then head across the bridge to go take back Angate.
Cool.
You have arrived mid-morning this morning. Traveling with you were Princess Moxanare, who complained the entire way back.
Naturally.
Sindra and Sophia Sylvain, the woman you depetrified, and her daughter.
Mom.
And I think that was the whole party. And you were told when you returned to Orem to report back to Rogar and to report back to Rogar's guests to let them know that you achieved that mission. And you went to go find them at Wakanga's villa, where they were supposed to be, and then you heard that they were here in negotiations, and so you've been waiting outside the door for them.
Oh, okay. I'm just like sitting on a bench somewhere nearby, like waggling my little short feet. I'm a dwarf. I didn't mention that. But like just sitting there, like, when are they going to get out?
He's got a voice.
Don't you all have voices? It's taken a while, right?
Yeah, now the doors are open now.
Oh, they're open. Sorry, you guys are coming out.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Does Princess, whatever her fucking name is,
Moxanare.
does she have a place to stay?
Unclear.
don't really want to invite her to our dog villa.
I do want to talk to her, but we can investigate this
Okay, but
dwarf
like
who's yelling at us like he knows us right now.
yeah, but inviting her to the dog villa is like a last resort. Okay.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Are you all the ones who Rogar is helping?
Yes.
That's correct.
That's you?
Yes.
You're a funny lot, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, I think.
How are you doing? My name's Barnum.
Pleasure to meet you.
Well, happy to meet you.
And
I suppose you have the plan.
Yeah.
You're not really a planning sort.
We're working on it.
Not the planning sort. Oh, what are you going to do then? Distract for the rest of the army?
I mean, we are our own group, so we're good at that.
Well, I suppose I could help with the planning part, but I don't really know what the mission is. I was summoned here by chance. Powerful fighter, you need somebody.
I'm sure you'll be a valuable member of the team.
Yeah, well, he said something about teleportation. I don't know the business there, but I'm certainly available. My services are free for you.
Oh,
You're
cool.
a wizard. Oh.
That's actually great.
Can't
We
you
have a
tell
job
from the
opening
giant
for-
axe on my back?
Yes.
Can I have? You said you're a wizard, though, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Have you studied much
I studied.
lore?
Is that the end of the question? Oh,
Have you
what?
studied much lore? Think of the word.
I've studied some lore. I know a lot about the history of the region, mainly the northern parts, though.
Oh,
Angate business. That's everybody knows about that. What are you looking for?
I heard about this thing. It's called the world egg.
Thea, do we want to talk about this in private?
Maybe, yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't you come with us to our dope villa?
Jake, I don't know if I know about the world egg. I don't know if that's like common history knowledge.
You don't know anything about the world egg. You never heard of it.
The world egg. Think you're looking for a priest.
Maybe I am.
Well,
I can
we have
direct you to one of them. I know what they are.
You have heard of there's a market that has the most excellent delicacies from all over. You're sure that they have whatever this world egg is. If there's a kind of egg that you can buy at the market, they've got it.
They've got pigeons, quail, and also pheasants down at the market. Maybe they got the worlds. I'm not sure what those are.
Let's go look.
I bet your grandmother would accept that.
Wow.
Glaswegian wizard is too much.
All right, it's going to be a great adventure.
I agree
Anyway,
with our new friend.
you
We
all?
should probably discuss our plan. Get Rogar in on it as well.
All right.
Well, I suppose the first step is teleporting past all the hordes of attacking hordes.
Yeah, that's a good call. Let's discuss this. We're staying with Wakanga at the villa. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if you just came and joined us for a short repast, and we could make some plans.
All right.
Theo's day is organized around eating. We just ate
Yeah,
the
we
women
know.
at this meeting.
What time is it? About 2 hours from second stew.
Yeah, pretty much.
Should
Well,
we,
it's always about 2 hours from any meal, if you ask me, and this Wakanga fella sounds all right.
You two will go.
Do you know?
I don't
You wanted to go talk to the princess, so actually you should go do that and figure out what her deal is.
Oh, wait, you guys can go ahead and I'll chat with her if you want.
No?
All right, cool. Yeah.
We won't start without you.
Yeah, we'll be chilling.
Should
That's fine, but hey, are you two Smiths?
Mm.
You look the part. Well
Yeah.
done.
No,
Managing
Sorry, are we what?
smithery and also adventuring is very hard.
it is.
We don't typically smith on the road.
No,
That would be impressive.
it would.
No, more of a at base kind of thing, I imagine.
Yeah.
Carry the
I personally
anvil.
prefer masonry. Very similar in many ways, though.
Masonry is great.
Masonry's
I
awesome.
see a lot of awesome dwarven architecture later. We should talk about it.
I want to look at your axe like up close later, if that's cool. It looks really
Totally.
nice.
Yes. Here, in fact, I don't think I'll be needing it in the city. Do you want to take it and look?
Yeah.
Sure, here you go. It's just an axe.
When we
just
get back
an
to the
axe.
villa, I want to like swing it around and see what its heft is like.
It's a dwarven axe, so it's like perfectly balanced, really nice material,
Feels good.
Probably a bit
surprisingly light.
Yeah, cool. I'll give it back when I'm done, but it's awesome.
is like nice, but it's not special in any
Yeah,
way.
but it's just made really well.
Should we?
I'm gonna.
As we
ahead,
go
Rena.
past, as we walk back to the villa, I would like to talk to Theo. That can wait.
Okay, Irina.
Can we grab Rhaegar as we go? Right.
Yeah, Rogar. Yeah,
Rogar.
absolutely. Aridin.
I'm gonna say we're glad to have you to Burnham in Dwarvish. You speak
Yeah,
Dwarvish.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And
crack up.
I agreed in Corbin.
And then I'm gonna head in to talk to the princess.
I seem very impressed that you speak Dwarvish. My accent's weird in Dwarvish compared to what
Right.
you.
Interesting.
Unlike
fake
my
dwarf.
accent in English, which is perfectly what you're used to.
All right. Let's see what Aridin and Moxonari are up to.
Alright, well, is she doing anything, or is she just standing there awkwardly?
Everyone's sort of left, and she's just in the seat. She's sort of leaned back. She's got her she's just.
Go over and sit next to her and be like, sorry you had a rough journey. I know the jungle is exhausting in its own way just to be outside. And so,
Roads.
roads?
I'll figure out the rest of the charter, and I gotta write it all down. But roads, that's what Isari needs. Sturdy roads made of material that won't decay in the jungle. Maybe the dwarves have some magic stone or something. And I think that's what can bring Isari back.
That is a great idea. I know that I definitely would have appreciated at least one road.
We could connect the cities and build trade routes.
People would come.
There's a whole book about how the dragons built their roads.
I know a dragon. I don't know if he's got much experience with roads. He usually...
I don't.
The big flying kind.
Oh, yeah. Well, it doesn't seem like they would need roads either, but that's interesting.
Do you not know the history of Azemar?
I was joking. That was a joke.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, but like a book date would be so cute.
I'm really tired.
That's fine. I understand. Do you have anywhere to stay?
No. I don't know what I figured. That I would show up and they would give me a palace.
Here's the thing about people. Kind of just basic people 101. They're not usually likely to do things for you unless they're under the impression that you will do things for them.
I've gathered.
Well, if you need help, I can maybe arrange. I've got the hookup with, Conga, and he's got the hookup with everybody else. Maybe we could find you like a nice inn. You can just have a day and R&R, recover from the lack of roads.
I thought you said people don't give things unless they want something.
I was waiting for that.
Get it.
Maybe I do want something.
She smiles a bit at you and says, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm happy to help. You can, keep reviewing the charters. Maybe some of the people around here, if you introduce yourself nicely, say you're just looking for help, people can surprise you. They can be kind if you're kind to them.
I don't think I've made the best impression on the merchant princes.
Well, the good thing is that there's always room for more impressions. So, let's work on that. We'll be fine.
All right.
I'm happy that you're putting some thought into the future of your kingdom. I really do wish you success in that. And here's the chalice, like I promised.
She takes the chalice and brightens at the sight of it. And says,
Oh,
"Thank
I
you."
also found you a very loyal Queensguard who's waiting for you in your capital whenever you get there.
Waiting in the ruined, abandoned city?
She's an interesting person.
At least someone recognizes my greatness.
It's true. You do have a super fan who's a little bit nuts.
She says, "Should I go with you now, or I don't know what? Should I wait here?"
Yeah, I can help get you set up for the night,
Okay.
and then we can figure things out tomorrow.
Sorry, that was an A or B, and you said yes.
Oh, I mean, I was thinking I would just help her get to an inn
Gotcha.
somewhere.
Okay, cool. So she grabs her stuff. She's got like a bag. It's pretty small. It's like everything she owns.
And a chalice.
And
She
now a
owns that now,
chalice.
too.
She puts the chalice in the bag underneath some of her other clothes, and heads with you towards whatever inn you want to find.
I'll just take her to a nice one. I'll
Cool.
pay for it.
You pay for a few days worth of stay. She thanks you again. Says, like, don't be a stranger.
Yeah. Good luck.
She says, good luck to you too. Alright, head back to the thing. Alright, Nadam, you wanted to talk to Theo.
Yes, I sort of sidle up to Theo and I say, think you did pretty well in there today, all things considered.
Didn't know what they were. I don't know why they think we did anything particularly good. Arena and I just helped, and it was pretty dire when we rolled up. So,
Isn't it obvious? Why they like you so much?
I mean, I guess we were just there in a pinch. I don't know.
You're one of them. You and Eridan and Irina. You and Eridan are you're refugees too. Maybe a little earlier, but they see you as just the same. And then you two saved all these people from the death curse, braved all these dangers, came back with an army and said, we're going to go save your homeland. They love you.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it would sound pretty cool, yeah.
So I suppose my point is, I think you could use a political advisor. I am far from an expert, but the Dragon lands are rife with negotiations and coalition making and all the different clans trying to work together. So I know a bit about it. I would be happy to offer my services.
You've proven yourself time and again, and very well today with this suggestion of trade agreements. It seemed to work very well. So I would very much appreciate your advice, but I'll ask Eridan to be sure.
Excellent. I'm glad to help. I've been looking for a worthy cause for a very long time, and for the first time I think I really found one.
I think that they really do need our help, but they make a good point. If we're able to beat back the orcs, and that's a big if, it could all be for naught. But something seems to be going on with the Empire. The fact that they let that city fall completely uncontested is very odd. I'm new here, but that seems strange.
If everything I've heard is true, it makes sense to me. But it does mean that this old Empire is a dangerous force. One that's willing to make sacrifices like that is not to be trifled with.
I agree.
All right. When you all...
Hey,
go ahead.
I was just going to say that he's going to be like, I'm happy to talk more when we get there. And he, just sort of rests his hand on the weird sword and they walk.
Cool. When you get back to Wakanga's his villa,
huge hut,
really big for a hut.
Dopest hut ever.
Rogar is there with you, and basically he has a few generals with him, and you guys set up around a table, and there's a map, and you make some high-level plans. The dwarves are going to ride their ships parallel to the bridge, sail their big old stone ships across. The humans, they're going to arrange them into battalions and whatever, and march them across the bridge. It's a few days' march, if I recall correctly. It's roughly 100 miles. So that's
Damn.
4 or 5 days march.
Crazy. What a bridge.
Kind of hard pace.
It might be less than 100 miles. I did the math a while ago, and it's 3 or 4 days across normal pace.
Okay.
I have a feeling that Burnham would walk 100 miles.
Mm.
Just to be the dwarf.
This way, with the distance I walked, we could use those roads yesterday.
So you guys can cross the bridge, and they make plans to spy ahead with a combination of scrying spells from some of his mages and powerful, bird familiars and things to fly them ahead to see what's coming and get some intelligence before they arrive.
Polymorphed spies.
Yep, all
Class
those sorts of
features.
things.
Crows from whatever it is.
Rabbi from Dublin!
There we go.
It's Saruman!
Is your class feature gonna help out with that?
Yeah, no, dude, class feature and I are tight. We're good.
Okay.
So, the plan is that everyone will leave in the morning. They're spreading the word to all the refugees. The refugees have been training. The dwarves have been smithing to get everything prepared so that the moment the orders come, everybody can be ready. So that's the plan. Anything anyone wants to do tonight before you go to bed?
Thinking about it. Give me a sec.
Anything we need to buy?
Yeah, so...
What?
Sorry?
Alex?
I said I'd like to get some heavier armor.
We can just barely hear you. You need to wiggle something.
I'd like to get heavier armor.
Heavier armor. You're still really quiet.
Speaking of armor, I was gonna say something. I forgot to say this earlier, but I think Irina would have asked one of the dwarf smiths to make her some armor with the bound hands of Ilmater's symbol.
Yeah?
Nice.
And would have given her armor more as a symbolic gesture. I'm not sure if it would work for Eridan, but would have given her nice, shiny Morning Lord armor and her beautiful cape to Eridan.
That is awesome.
That's legit.
What kind of armor is it mechanically?
Let me check, because I was wearing leather armor in the
Jungle, but
jungle, but that wasn't what I originally had.
you want the spreadsheet that is now in Slack.
Yeah, you...
Okay.
I think
Just like
you
leave
had
it on her.
chainmail like us.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Now
get the
you
point.
have Morning Lord Chainmail and Eridan. Based on your studies with those other clerics and learning some shit, you have learned that this particular symbology for the Morning Lord is an archaic symbol for the Morning Lord. Symbols of the Morning Lord of Lathander that haven't been used for centuries.
Old school.
I think I gave away my sweet wristband to someone.
Yes, and you got a new one made.
Oh, I did.
Yes.
Great. I want to go. What do the dwarves have set up encampment-wise? Are they like on the outskirts of the city and they have like a?
They're mostly staying in their ships.
Oh, cool. Are the ships badass enough to have a forge on the ship?
Every ship has a forge.
Probably several.
Amazing.
Several. There's in fact a massive major forge that powers the ships. Stone ships do not sail well with regular sails.
All right,
There is
cool.
a forge that powers essentially an engine that pushes
so
the ship
cool.
forward.
I want to go to one of
Don't do
those,
it.
and Burnham, if he has smithing experience, can help me, or really just whoever is around that has smithing experience and like knows who I am and is willing to help me. I want to make like a mini of the Eldris crest,
Mm-hmm.
like a kind of mini one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to I mean, that'll take me some time, but I think I can get it all done in one day. And then I'm gonna leave. Sorry, how rare are Wondrous figurines of power?
Figurines of Wondrous Dirk.
Whatever. Yeah. No, like
There's only one.
no. Figurines of Wondrous
World
power.
couldn't handle two.
Are they super rare?
Not a thing you can buy at the store.
Okay. So then I'm gonna. That's kind of a bummer. Then I'm gonna leave the crest and my silver raven figurine. I really like,
No, why?
I'm gonna give it to Wakanda. He was our host. We were kind of difficult guests.
Just pay the man. Don't give him your bravery.
I'm gonna give him this cute little crest to be like, now you can tell people that you hosted the Eldritch Brothers when we're really famous. We're already kind of famous, so this is already pretty cool. And then if you really need us or something dire happens, you can use the Silver Raven figurine to contact us.
He
Has
says,
our fame reached this plane yet? No? Okay, let me help it.
and he says, "You are too kind." And he goes over and he puts the little Eldritch crest on his mantle below his big ol' crest.
Dope. Cool.
That's cool.
I'm sad I don't have my bird anymore, but it feels like he did a lot for us.
You can turn into birds.
Dude, that is true.
You can definitely still do that.
I don't think anybody else knows that, so...
Is there a dwarven blacksmithing guild?
Yeah, it's called the Dwarves.
Yeah. Is there official organization of it?
There is, but not here in Orem.
Were you gonna try to join?
I wanted to get you a new letter.
I was gonna say, I want to join if I can.
So, the guildmaster, of all the dwarves, is here with the army. If you want to go talk to him.
I want to go talk to him, yeah.
Is the Mountain of Fire, is that the capital? In Isari, at least?
The Mountain of Fire is the ancestral home and capital of the dwarves. It's been abandoned for a very long time. They only assemble there for important, at least once a year for a big holiday. A lot of the clans will gather there, and then for other important events.
I think once a decade because they're dwarves.
Yeah, you're right. It's once a decade. This particular meeting there was not for any particular holiday. It was a gathering to discuss the issue of the orcs. This most recent assembly there.
So can I go talk to the guy?
Yeah.
Knock, knock.
Knock, knock, knock.
I assume he has a door.
Yes.
Hello. Hi. My name is Eridan Eldris.
And how can I help you, Eridan Eldris?
Read his expression. Has he heard of me?
He doesn't seem like he's heard of you.
Okay. Very long story, but me and my brother are actually blacksmiths. But we've traveled very, very far. As you can see from my guild letter, official guild member blacksmith. As was my brother, unfortunately, in our adventures... What's up?
No, he just leans in to look at the paper and he says, never heard of Waterdeep.
It's great.
Yes,
Not
Red
as
Lodge.
great as the Mountain of Fire. That place is impressive. Anyway, while we were, saving hundreds of thousands of lives, my brother's guild letter got destroyed, and I know it would mean a lot to him if I could replace it. I was hoping.
And he says, when have you been to the Mountain of Fire?
I'm helping Rogar with his mission.
Ah, you're the ones who helped find the hammer.
Yes.
Rogar told me about you. I'd be happy to write a guild letter.
Excellent.
For either or both of you.
Sure. Let's do both.
Damn, now you have one more than me. No!
I'm not gonna tell you about it.
He pulls out the paper that's got all the things in there, and he asks for the spelling of your names, and he writes those in with a quill.
Dude, does he do crazy quill magic?
No, but then he takes the guild letter, and he just turns and tosses it into the fire next to him.
Owned.
Did you misspell something?
You've never had a dwarven guild letter before.
Nope.
He takes the tongs and he reaches and he pulls them out, and they're on fire, and it's put this absolutely unique pattern into the page. Like the wax seal or the embossment on your one from Waterdeep. Only the Guildmaster's flames can create this pattern on a dwarven guild letter.
He has a portable forge.
That's awesome.
It's in the ship.
Oh, they made him one.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought this was the ship forge, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is his private forge on the ship.
Oh.
This is his ship. There are many stone ships. This is his.
Oh, is his like the main forging one that like manufactures stuff for the army? That's so cool.
And he says, "Careful, they're hot."
How hot? Like,
You can
Okay.
touch them, but you don't want to
You can
hold
do
on
a
to them.
James test. I wonder if this is hot and touch it to find out.
You like touch it a little, and it's hot. You wouldn't want to hold it for very long, but you can hold it for long enough to put them in your bag.
thank you so much. It really means the world.
And he says, "Anything for the ones who helped Rogar find the hammer."
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool.
All right, I'll head back to Theo.
It's gonna be the best day of my whole life.
Hey, bro. How you doing?
Hey,
Hey. Oh, what's up?
oh, I have something to ask you.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't work out perfectly, but I feel like Nadam Nazir's advice for your fashion was
Who?
pretty good. Fashion Dragon.
Oh, Dirk.
Yeah. I feel like his advice was pretty good. It didn't work out perfectly because she was kind of being the worst, but like, you know, when she's done doing that, I feel like it totally would have worked. Also, his suggestions about the trade stuff was good. He wants to be our political advisor.
Well, we probably need one. So
I feel like I'd rather have him advising me politically than anything else.
ourselves advising
Yes,
us politically?
basically,
I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah, good. Okay, great. I'll tell him yes.
He's gonna be like our royal vizier.
He probably needs a mustache.
But it's like the luck dragon, like noodle dragon.
Yeah.
You know, it's that.
See, all I can think of is a dragon with whiskers. I can't think of anything beyond that. Just big whiskers.
Well, anyway, you know how your disgraced blacksmith who lost your guild letter?
I wish you wouldn't bring that up. It just really wrinkles me, and you bring it up, and
Happy not our birthday yet.
oh my gosh! Wow, how did you get these, and why are they so warm?
I have connections. I'm only giving you yours, by the way. I'm not telling you about mine.
Why is it?
I want you to feel special.
Whoa! This says that I'm in the guild for the Mountain of Fire. That place
Yep.
is lit.
Cause you are. Apparently the blacksmithing guild master's like heard of us and he's a big fan.
Cool. That sounds dope.
He heard of us and he gave us the guild letter.
That's pretty cool.
Like all these different levels of crazy.
That is pretty awesome. I think so. Okay, I'm gonna roll it up, and then last shopping trip, I'm gonna get one of those fancy.
Do not
things
lose
with the
that.
map so it doesn't get damaged by anything, including water, including fire, and it's like totally everything proof, and I have it in that.
Swear to God, if you give it to that hag,
I'm not gonna give it to anyone. We never talked about this. This is like, I don't know what level this is at. I don't remember if we ever decided that Theo told Aridin everything, like I now have to get the world egg for Grandma Crow Lady.
What you told me, Lily, was that Theo told Aridin almost everything, but did not tell Aridin about the commitment that he had to make to Grandmother Crow.
I think I said I hadn't decided.
What you had told me was that Theo told Aridin that that Grandmother Crow helped you come back, but that like she just made you give up some more shit that you had, had there.
Some childhood memories. Or
Some
something.
childhood memories or something. Like just some like.
No, I didn't. Okay, I wouldn't have lied. I
No,
would
like-
not have lied.
Okay. You were just sort of abstract about how she helped you get back. You didn't tell Aridin that you are obliged to bring her
I
the
feel
world
like
egg.
him giving this to me makes me want to come clean.
Go ahead.
So I'm just gonna be like, holding it, just be like, remember how that hag brought me back?
yeah.
You know how she doesn't do anything for free?
Oh God, I just went on vacation with Bros. Please tell me you didn't make any more terrible deals.
I don't want to make a deal, but you know how bad it was. Oh, also, we didn't mention this when the stream started, but the other thing that we did in Mountain of Fire was like really expensive with like all the money. We have a lot of money. Family therapy with me and Aridin.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of it. Like every day we had a session. Okay. For at least
than
an
terrible.
hour. Okay.
Just picture you sitting on the stone couch.
It's very uncomfortable. So
Now both of you say what you want the other one to say, and then you'll hit each other with hammers.
Exactly. You know the fate that I was avoiding by having her bring me back and having her undo all of that. I didn't want to see Mom and Dad die. But she did ask for something pretty big in return. But it's the whole town and Mom and Dad and everyone. So, and what could I do? I was trapped. She wants the world egg.
Interesting.
I don't really know what it does. It just sounds like a bunch of blood. Like, how bad could it be?
Maybe it's just like a big omelet she's trying
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted you to know that. And she said that I didn't need to worry about finding it, that I'd like know when I found it, whatever that means.
Alright, then we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. Hey, we've got a political advisor to help figure this stuff out now.
Good point. I just wanted to come clean about that.
I understand.
This letter really means a lot to me, and I'm only not crying because I don't want to ruin the ink. So.
Just.
I feel very touched.
All right. Y'all go to bed. All healed up, all your level 13 abilities already.
Wait,
Nice.
did we do that?
I told y'all to do that. Whether or not you did that is a different story.
All right.
Dirk speaks and
Already the
understands
teleport.
all languages.
So,
Nice.
Nadal.
Baron, I'm about teleporting stuff you keep chatting about.
Well, that's what I was told. I don't really know the details of this mission. I only know the general purpose. I'm bringing you somewhere across the gate. Across the bridge, sorry.
So, sorry, the teleporting was so that you could teleport to Kirsa Ball from the Mountain of Fire, and then from there, make it to Aurum in time.
Oh.
That's what the teleporting was for.
I thought I was supposed to teleport them somewhere.
No,
Sorry.
that was what the teleporting was. That's been done.
No, now that I've checked my notes, I don't know what we're doing at all.
I'll explain to him that we're going across the bridge to try to reclaim this territory from the orcs, and that like some other crazy stuff's going on.
I sort of assumed it was something about the bridge. Even where I live, news gets out there eventually.
Where are you from?
Little town, Weatherwill.
Witherwill.
Sorry, I spelled that for you
Never
guys.
heard of it. I haven't been here long.
It's more of a community. A lot of holes in the ground, standard stuff. West of the Mountain of Fire.
See, this is making me wish I could do a Russian accent, because,
Irina Kolyana.
yeah, Kuliana.
Hello.
All right. So you all head over towards the base of the bridge, where you find all the people are there milling about. You find towards the front, eventually, where Wakanga leads you. You see Thanazar Olrung, the leader of the refugees, is there waiting for you, and he beckons for you to come near.
We come as he beckons.
The dwarves are loading onto the ships and getting all ready to go. And he says, Thanazar says to you, I thought that maybe you could say a few words, and you see that he's got like a few boxes set up to stand on.
Oh, is this that speech that you were like, Lily, you were supposed to write a speech? Is this that?
I gave Lily the opportunity to pre-write this speech, but right now Lily can ad-lib it. Thanazar says, I'd love if you could say a few words to the people, inspire them, get them all ready to march across the bridge.
Keep it simple. Say what you would want to hear.
Use
They
your
already
mouth.
like you.
Do I have to do it?
Yep.
Not Aridin.
Nope.
Mass suggestion.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I use my mass suggestion thing before I do it.
Okay.
Do I have to do anything?
Suggest you enjoy this speech.
Yes, you really enjoy this speech and continue thinking that I'm awesome. That's what I suggest.
Everyone starts to give funny looks at each other, and then they just as you see it wash over them, they're like,
Oh,
"Yeah, all
I
right."
think that out loud?
That's how the suggestion works.
Oh, I don't. Oh.
Oh, you don't have to say that out loud. Whatever you say out loud is received amenably. That's how it works.
Oh, okay. I thought I was stating my intent for a wish, and then I sent it off.
You declare it, and then now your words have power over people. So like when you were in the dungeon, everyone's like, should we go left? Should we go right? You're like, I think we should go left, and everyone's like, all right, yeah, that's the right way to go.
Cool.
Right? Like that was the really basic.
A lot of
version.
responsibility. Okay.
Euron, the leadership spirit rises within you.
Okay. Great.
Short, sweet, what you would want to hear.
Sorry. This is to clarify. We're about to cross the bridge to go back and reclaim their homelands.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. The world is a harsh place. You know more than anyone else that things are not fair. And that sometimes you get kicked when you're down. And you have to do maybe not what you expected to make ends meet, just to survive, to get by. But just because it is that way doesn't mean it should be. You came across the bridge here, and you were brought low. But now, if we cross back, it will be brought high to seize your homeland and reclaim what was yours. Not as subjugates of some empire, but as their own free, true people.
Woo! It was so good that we lost Bobby.
So
People
good
banging their shield.
that I ruined the internet.
Yeah, people are banging their shields, stomping spears.
Bobby, you were so roused that you cut out, yeah?
I missed the climax of the speech.
Ah, damn. It was really good.
Bobby, you need to refresh again because I can't see you.
Oh, I can see him.
Yeah, same.
But the stream needs to see him.
There we go.
But, yeah, I say that, and if they're all into that, and I'm like, we ride to Endgate. We walk to Endgate. We make our way back to homeland. Whatever, I say something nice.
Everyone charges and then starts marching, and you guys lead the way.
That was
I feel
good.
like we should sing a song to keep spirits up, but I don't know any songs. Can I do a Christmas check to see if I know any, like, really catchy tunes?
Sure.
I can
Oh,
sing
like
it.
some old drinking songs from back home.
Yeah, because apparently I used to live there. Not like I remember. Hey, that's the best I've ever done on one of these.
As a reminder, it's a check, not a save, but it doesn't matter for you because it's the same.
I was like,
Yes, you remember. In fact, like it's now it's an old drinking song, but it was an old wartime song. And you're able to start. You gotta think, and then you can get the first couple bars, and then a few people behind you start picking it up.
yeah, I don't
And
think
then
they want me to sing.
After a little while, just the whole army marching along is singing this song as you march across the bridge. All right.
Cool.
Row, row, row your boat.
Like that song from Gallivant that Sid sings about how they're all gonna die horribly.
There was a legend told.
Sir Robin ran away. Sir Robin ran away.
And I'm just like, your brother is a good speaker.
I was not aware.
So, it's you 3 or 4 days travel across the bridge, and at the second or third day, you're about a day's travel away from the city of Angate. Rogar you receive a sending spell from his ship to all y'all, saying he's gathered intelligence and he wants to make plans with all of you. He's going to send a boat right up to the edge of the bridge for y'all to come across and meet him on the ship.
How high is the boat? How high is the bridge from the water?
It varies.
Oh, okay.
Gets mighty high. In fact, I'm a little bit surprised. I thought the city would be bigger. Always was told that these humans make tall cities. This one's barely anything.
You're not at the city yet. Are you talking about Orem?
sorry, Orem.
Oh, yeah, Orem is a short city. Yeah.
So do you dwarves make deep cities? Other than the mountain
Deep
one? I don't-
cities. In the mountains, we measure them from base to ceiling. And usually the buildings go as high.
Very impressive.
Dragonborn aren't big on cities.
I've seen
Probably
cities
just
taller
shit.
than they were wide. Nobody in them, but they were tall.
That's a tower.
No. Different buildings. Taller than it was wide.
If no one's in it, though, it's not a city. It's just
Well, it
Buildings.
was a
Do we
city.
just debate this till the boat comes?
At that point, it was more of a...
Oh, we stopped during traffic jam.
The boat eventually arrives. You guys are able to sort of...
We're supposed to go on the boat, but the other dudes are walking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get on the boat. I'm gonna walk with these guys.
It's to have a quick meeting. It's not to ride all the way there.
Okay, cool. I want to walk with them.
Oh, I thought it was for us to sail across too.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're just
This is
talking.
like a few days in. You've been marching for days.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Cool.
And
it was like the
Rogar
second
says,
one we got on.
hey, like, let's have a quick strategy meeting before we get there.
Pro strats.
I've gotten a bunch of intelligence.
Question: if the orcs are invading, why aren't they on the bridge?
It's a good question.
Who are you asking? Are you asking the group or are you asking
I
Rogar?
don't know. It's both a Brandon question and a Burnham question.
Well, this is like a preemptive attack. We're pretty sure they're gonna.
If I had to guess,
I don't know.
Preemptive reaction, isn't it?
Do
Burn the
does-
tree.
what does Nadam know about orcs?
Probably not a lot. They're
Like, do I know if they have like a hierarchy or
vicious,
organization?
bloodthirsty,
Do they have a government?
not anything that y'all would
Is-
call a government.
Is someone in charge?
The gods, usually.
Okay, cool, good. All right.
Yeah, they're like
And
a brutal, bloodthirsty theocracy.
if I would say if I had to guess, they don't seem like the planning sort. They are comfortable right now.
Random sieges, maybe? I don't know.
The boat comes by, you guys climb down. There's like the outside of the bridge is like ladders, and there's like a spot for the it's like a stone ladder built into the bridge. You're able to climb down, hop on the boat. The boat takes you over to Rogar's boat. Little boat takes you over to the big boat.
How it
And
usually
he
works.
brings you into a big old there's a big circular table in the middle of this room with a forge burning under it. There's always a forge. And at the end of the table, you see there's a dwarven mage who's got his hands like on the edge of the table, but also you see like his fingers are going into the stone, like it's clay or liquid.
Ooh, cool.
That's
And he says, "This is Angate," and the table like ripples, and the stone forms a map of the city of Angate.
That is so
Awesome.
cool.
It's so dope.
Get your
the big thing?
miniatures
Who's the
and your
thing?
little sticks to push things. I got magic.
So
So
big
cool.
thing?
And he says,
Irina's asking.
"Say again."
What's the big thing? In the center of the city, it has like all the spokes going out of something, or bridges, or I don't know.
Over here. Alright,
Yeah.
so, whoops. This is the bridge. Come in. This area up here. Here, I'm gonna make a big circle around it. There we go. This area I've circled in red.
Yeah.
That's the upper city. So that's raised. The bridge comes in pretty high and hits a hill. The upper city is entirely walled around it. There are at the gates coming in and out of the city. In and out of this upper part of the city, there's large gatehouses. He explains that when the humans held the city, they basically was like a really big area where they allowed it was like customs and international trade and everything. People from across the bridge to come in and do trade and all sorts of things without actually letting them enter the country proper. Then over here, the area I didn't circle, that's the lower city. The hill, the edge of the hill's right there. Oh, whoops, sorry, right there. And then the rest is lower, and there's all sorts of stuff in the lower city. Then over here, I'm trying to point upside down. This is really hard. This area, that's a river. They've got a big old chain across the front of the river before they let you into these docks, because these docks are in the lower city. And there's a large fort and barracks and armory on the other side of the river.
Okay.
The brief history that he'll give you of the city is a long time ago, it was just that fort, barracks, and armory, and then the palace on the other side. So I didn't point out the palace. The palace is right on the other side of the chain there. That was all that was there. Then the dwarves showed up with the bridge, And since then, the rest of the city has been built around those two places.
Okay. They said they were using some scrying, and they were gonna send some familiars ahead. Have we gotten a lay of the land of any fortifications or anything like that? You said the upper city's walled, and that's where we'll be arriving.
He says yes. Let me highlight the first objective. In blue here, I just scribbled, by the main gates that enter in from the bridge, the orcs have fortified those heavily.
Okay.
They know that we're coming, and they've got a lot of forces there ready to stop people coming in. He says, if those gates are closed when we arrive, it'll be a massacre on that narrow bridge.
I agree.
He says, we'll need to get in there and open the gates. In addition,
Fun.
I got all my highlighters. Over here in the lower city, in the park by the old Bard College, the orcs have set up catapults and trebuchets. And we're not going to be able to get our ships anywhere as close without being ripped to shreds by those.
Right.
We'll need to go in there and disable the catapults.
Okay.
Lastly, and I don't have another color, I don't think. Oh, wait, yes! I think I have a purple. We've discovered the orcs are staying all over, but they've really been liking the arena, which is like a big coliseum building on that side. They've been having all sorts of prize fights and things there. We think that with the right... how does he phrase it? Orcs are known for their brutality and not for their discipline. With the right disguises and tricks, you could probably find a way of stoking existing resentments and tying up groups of orc soldiers with infighting.
Makes sense.
Dulling their ability to respond to our assault. He
That sounds
says,
like
the plan is that we'll send the party, you, ahead to deal with these key objectives discreetly. Clandestine operation.
No, but now it's gonna be like the why must you leave on the eve of battle situation.
Because there is no hope.
No!
To go ahead and ready the city for the arrival of the army.
Okay.
And he says, and while you're there, any distractions that can be made, lighting watchtowers on fire, things to draw the orcs away from the battle before the assault will be
We're
helpful.
commandos.
Exactly. One last thing.
Why is there always one last thing?
He says, the orcs haven't taken the barracks yet. That fort, an armory, has a group of human soldiers from Angate hunkered down inside of it.
Wow.
Resistance.
The
For
orcs
how
have been
long?
for over a month now, since the original assault.
Wow.
They're running very low on supplies.
I was about to say.
And he says, the orc forces are split, preparing for defense against us and continuing their assault against that fort. If you can clear the area by the docks and get the fort to lower the chain, our ships can come along the river and assault the city from the less walled north side. And from the east.
Sounds good.
Do these ships have any kind of ranged capability? What are the chances of a naval bombardment?
And he says, we've got ranged, we've got catapults and trebuchets and giant crossbow things.
But they're
I
worried
mean,
about
I'm
the
assuming
coast.
the land installations outrange you.
Yes. Precisely. They're bigger.
I'm also assuming we want to use this place as a foothold, so we don't want to destroy it.
Absolutely. The orcs have wrecked the place pretty thoroughly, but we'd like to try and avoid any more damage if we can.
Ooh.
So I don't know what you all think, but I think starting with the arena, that way there's already discord and they're all distracted while we're doing everything else, might be a good place to start.
Arena wants to start at the arena.
Mhm.
That sounds good to me.
I think we need to think really carefully about this. our numbers are limited.
I agree.
Hopefully, as we are successful, we can gain support. But for now, I think we need to be careful with how we spend lives, which is what we are doing from here on, spending these people's lives.
Well, I believe it's only us.
Right?
going
Yeah. All for these objectives, it's just us.
No,
but we
he
intend
means-
to assault the city.
Right.
Correct.
All those people you addressed today, Theoden, many of them will die.
Why do you have to do this to me? Yeah, okay, got it.
We have to be careful.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
I think we need to think about this. I think it is brilliant for us to go in and sow discord and cause problems. I think the fort is a fantastic idea. Force them to split their forces.
Yeah.
I think any question of assaulting that main gate is ridiculous.
Mhm.
Even with it
We'll
open.
need to sabotage it somehow before we
Or
can.
Even with it open, I don't think we
distract
should
the
attack
people
it.
who are guarding it. Lead them away somewhere else. Leave just fewer people, and then somebody, very clever and sneaky, like Koros, could go open the gate.
Can you
I think
still do
even
that
with it
cold
open,
open?
though, we should not attack it.
I agree. I think the gate's a dangerous way in. I think the river is the better choice.
If we don't get it open at any point, though, we can't get any of the soldiers that are on the bridge into the city.
But we can take it by sailing ships up the river. Like, if we can get rid of the fortifications and open the chain, I think the river is safer than the gate.
I think that if we only get the river open, then it's going to be a choke point. I think the smart thing is to have the river open, start the assault there, have things distracted, and then potentially open up the gate.
I agree. We need a toehold there.
Yeah,
Yes.
that seems reasonable.
It seems very vulnerable.
And you say that we should not destroy the city, certainly. But we're going to put all our troops in the fort on the top of the hill. If I remember correctly, Anne Gate is raised so that edge that's all fortified properly, that's at the very top of a hill, right?
So
everything
the
else kind of
fort
sinks
on the
down.
north side is not. It's actually pretty low.
Right, yeah.
The
Sorry,
upper
not
city,
the
where
fort,
the
I meant the main city
bridge
part, the walled
meets the
city.
city, is on a hill, and then it goes down to the lower city. So yeah, if you can take the upper city, you have the upper hand against the lower city. Sure,
And we only need the upper city to house all the troops, is that right?
'cause that's where the bridge comes in.
Part. There is a complex network of tunnels and caves underneath Angate.
Oh.
Maybe we could perhaps get in there and just weaken the fortifications underneath the foundations of the lower city. We could collapse the lower city, force many of the Orcish forces to flee into the lower city, make it easier to take over the upper city, open the gate while they are distracted by the ships. Of course, we disable their artillery, and then have everybody march right in.
It's a lot of
It's
ifs,
basically
but
uncontested.
that's a lot of ifs, but I have a feeling that dwarven sappers are the best.
I like
That
it.
seems like a good.
I don't know how sold I am on destroying half the city, but
It's only half the city.
We can rebuild the buildings. We
The-
can't get the soldiers back.
And it is the upper city that's unfortunately rich and made of better materials, stone and fancy things. The rest of it's mostly wood. It's houses. They're probably already destroyed. I don't think the orcs moved in and sat down in a little bed and had a little bit of supper, did they? No. These are savages we're dealing with.
What do our supply lines look like? Healthy, I assume?
Jake needs clarification.
Supply line.
We
Our
have
supply
direct
lines
line
for
on the
us.
bridge.
We've got direct line back to Orem and stuff. We're happy
Yeah, we
with
can get
food and
boats
stuff.
for back across. We've got the bridge to get back across. Yeah. Orem has lots of supplies. They're a pretty wealthy city. Because it's the trading hub for all of
He's
Isari.
worried about something happening and us being cut off from being supply.
For
I'm
now, as
super
long
worried
as you
now.
have the bridge and some sort of docks, you're going to be all right.
Okay.
There are also, I forgot to mention, there's a second set of docks underneath the bridge that are lower. They're below the upper city, but they're still gated off from the lower city. They're at the same level as the lower city, but they're gated off. So it's the same concept as the bridge and the customs, right? Like these are separate docks for international boats as opposed to domestic boats at the docks in the north.
The most efficient way I see this evolving is we go in and soften everything up as much as we can. Get them fighting amongst each other, sow confusion and fear and anger. Get those trebuchets offline. Begin some kind of assault in the south from that fort with the help of the fort.
North.
Sorry, in the north. While that is happening, and they are forced to divert forces from the upper city, or hopefully they'll do that, divert forces to defend what appears to be our main assault. We'll go open the other gates and we'll get them from 2 angles.
I think that's smart. What about the potential of
The whole continent will know we're here once we take the city.
The what?
these underground tunnels? They seem like a good opportunity.
If everybody's in the lower city, then that's the perfect time to collapse.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
maybe,
I feel
I
like
know it's not ideal, but maybe it's a good last resort. Maybe we plant things there that way in case we need to.
If we feel overwhelmed by their forces, I think it's a great backup.
I agree. We should try to use them as
magical
much as possible.
detonation of some kind.
Yeah. I like this man.
All right, cool. Oh, hi guys.
Excellent.
And I believe that those upper city docks are which I realize are not at the upper city. I believe they are underneath somewhere in those, not the tunnels, but there's an archway of stone. Water runs straight through it. They might be there. I'm not entirely certain. I haven't examined the schematics for the city or anything, but maybe they're connected to the tunnels somehow.
Could be. Not a bad place to start.
There's one weakness that is but a drain. Bring him down!
But as Del Dazim down there said, they are going to all know that we're there once we invade the city. So we have one shot.
Yeah,
So
they have
for-
supply lines just like
Reminded me
us. We all have great supply lines here. We won't win a siege.
No.
Right.
So go in through those tunnels underneath the dock, try to plant explosives, go up into the city, sow discord in the arena, go talk to the people in the fort isolated, have them make a distraction,
Lower the
and
chain.
then yes, lower the chain, sorry.
Yeah.
and
no,
then-
I'm with you.
Yeah, and then
We take
Try
out the
to-
trebuchets.
You got to take out the
We can land.
trebuchets before you lower the chain.
yeah, that order, and
I
then
mean, yeah,
try to
just
lock
they
the
don't.
gate.
How many trebuchets? How many batteries do they have there? Do we
We
know?
won't know till we get there.
Many.
And
Assume a lot.
and in theory, could they be retargeted into the city?
They could be. They're big and slow to move, but
Sure.
someone would
But
notice.
I think what Koros is saying, we should capture them if possible.
Sure.
It's more material.
Yep.
Yeah, fair. Fair.
All right. Rogar says, and about entering the city, we've got something better than creeping along the bridge and looking for an archway.
Oh.
Why don't you come with me above deck? And he brings you up to the top of the ship. You see he's got a few mages there, and they've set up a big old teleportation circle.
Nice.
Right.
And he says, this isn't your typical teleportation circle. It's one way.
Okay.
But we can drop you anywhere in the city you like.
Wait.
With perfect aim? No chance of misfire.
Ah! My mages tell me only a very small chance of misfire. And his mages are like, yes, very small, sir, very small.
Yeah, so like
Sign
99.9.
right here, and here, initial here. Sign right here.
You're going
Does
to let
anyone,
me
does,
bikes.
does anyone in our group speak Orcish?
No.
I
Oh,
do.
Nadim does.
Dirk,
Or Nadim.
John speaks and understands all languages.
Okay, we got one.
Del Dazim.
Koros, can you turn into an orc-looking thing?
Yeah, but doesn't make well. I can do several different ways of. I can make myself look like an orc, but that doesn't give me the language.
No,
Oh.
but at least you can walk around without being.
I can walk around looking like an orc, no problem. But yeah, we still have the problem we can't talk or listen in, which
Well-
might be useful.
Well, we've got
We've got Nadim.
Nom.
Scotty, do you have a tongue spell by any chance?
A tongue spell. I can look that up, maybe. I probably do. I actually haven't completely written my spell book.
Alright.
yes, he does.
Or if any of the other mages have scrolls.
I
Something.
take out a stone tablet and I look at it and I'm like, huh? No.
It's
no.
a very heavy
Ah,
spell
tongues,
book.
yes. It's right on my tablet here.
Great.
All right.
I'm running you time.
With that, Rogar gives you guys the opportunity to make arrangements with whoever you need to back on the bridge. Then, as night arrives,
We'll tell what's his face's name, the guy who had our
Thanazar.
vote of confidence and all that stuff, and he wanted us to be in charge. And I'm like,
Thanazar.
listen, We're gonna go in and get it all primed.
Yep.
Get everything ready for you so you can roll up and less people will die.
And he says, Theo and Aridin taking the orcs single-handedly.
We're
Technically,
right.
there's 4 hands.
Hi. We're right here.
Oh yeah, Irina's there too.
Don't call me a mage, you know.
6 hands.
It's good for their optics. I was going to say, can we mull over where we want to teleport?
Yes.
Sure, you guys can mull over it for a week.
Yeah, I agree, Lincoln. I was hoping for the same kind of time.
All right, so right here on the eve of battle is where we will leave the party. Thank you, friends, for watching. Note about next week, just like this week, we're not quite the usual time. Next week will also not be the normal time or day. I've got a last-minute trip, so we will instead be playing on Thursday of next week. Unfortunately, Burnham Shortwick will not be able to make it on Thursday. But everyone else will be there.
Party's short a player.
So
give me a spellbook.
Spells.
We'll be playing Thursday at 7:15 p.m. Pacific time, so we will see you all there for episode 2 when we assault the city of Angate. Thank you all for watching. Please do comment on the video, message the page, give us your feedback. My players, please tonight message me your rose, thorn, bud. That is the thing you liked, the thing you didn't like, and the thing you're looking forward to. Right before we sign off, Lincoln, you want to plug Into the Black?
Into the Black is the same time as it has been for the last couple of weeks, Mondays at 7:15, and they are not assaulting a city to take back an entire continent from orcs. They are going to help someone probably muck space horse stalls and probably do a little cattle rustling. Yeah!
That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, level 4!
All right, with that, we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye bye.